Namaste. Hari Om. Suswagatam, Suswagatam, Suswagatam. I welcome one, I welcome all to Pittsburgh's first Hindu Women Conference, Manasvini. My name is Shweta Chakradev, and on behalf of our entire organizing committee, I would like to welcome you all for this great day-long session that we are going to have today. I have a task in front of me. I am going to introduce a great person right now. I'm going to introduce Sheila Rajuji. Sheila ji is representing CMP here today. Sheila ji is an IT executive. She's a great singer. She teaches bhajans, music at CMP. She leads Ahara team at CMP, a fantastic volunteer, a fantastic human being. And I'm really, really honored and happy to have met with her and made friends with her. A fun fact about Sheila ji is that, not fun fact, an interesting fact, that she is one of those few people who have got opportunity to sing in front of none other than Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmaya. Amazing, amazing singer. So I would like to welcome and please come up on the stage, Sheila Rajuji. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Shweta ji. Hari Om and Namaste to all the Devis assembled here. Hari Om to some of the Devas also who are helping the Devis set up and clean up especially. So welcome to all of you also. On behalf of the organizers of this Hindu Women's Conference, Manasvini, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. This Hindu Women's Conference is the first of its kind here in Pittsburgh, and hopefully many more to come in future. Chinmaya Mission Pittsburgh is honored to host this event at our facility, Chinmaya Amarnath. I would now like to go over some housekeeping information and some facility information. Kindly keep your phones on vibrate mode. Please refrain from bringing any food or drinks into the auditorium. The women's restrooms are located on the left side aisle, so if you face the exit, it's on the left. The cafeteria, as you all know, is also on the left on this side. Breakout sessions will be arranged in a few classrooms which are on both sides of the aisles, and also I think some will be held in the cafeteria. I would now like to invite the panelists to do the Deepa Prajwalan or light the diyas. जय जय हे भगवती सुरभारती तव चरणौ प्रणमामः जय जय हे भगवती सुरभारती तव चरणौ प्रणमामः नाद ब्रह्ममयी जय वागीश्वरी नाद ब्रह्ममयी जय वागीश्वरी शरणं ते गच्छामः जय जय हे भगवती सुरभारती तव चरणौ प्रणमामः त्वमसि शरण्या त्रिभुवनधन्या सुरमुनिवन्दितचरणा त्वमसि शरण्या त्रिभुवनधन्या सुरमुनिवन्दितचरणा नवरसमधुरा कविता मुखरा स्मितरुचिरुचिराभरण जय जय हे भगवति सुरभारती तव चरणौ प्रणमामः आसीना भव मानसहंसे कुन्दतुहिन शशिधवले आसीना भव मानसहंसे कुन्दतुहिन शशिधवले हर जडतां कुरु बोधिविकासं सितपङ्कजतनु विमले जय जय हे भगवति सुरभारती तव चरणौ प्रणमामः ललितकलामयी ज्ञानविभामयी वीणा पुस्तकधारिणी ललितकलामयी ज्ञानविभामयी वीणा पुस्तकधारिणी मतिरास्तां नो तव पदकमले ऐकुण्ठाविषहारिणी जय जय हे भगवति सुरभारती तव चरणौ प्रणमामः 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 प्रणमामः
That was really, really divine, Sheila ji. I have another difficult task today. I have a task to introduce someone, and I have given only 1 or 2 minutes to introduce that person. And it's absolutely not possible to introduce that person in 1 or 2 minutes. I think many of us must have guessed by now. I am here now to introduce, I think, none other than Dr. Sai Patil. Dr. Sai Patil has a PhD from molecular genetics from New York Medical College. She later also earned executive MBA from University of Pittsburgh. She has worked in a pharmaceutical company as a director of project management. And currently, she is joint executive director of HSS, and she coordinates activities all over the country, all over the US. Saiji is a well-read person. She's an amazing orator, a leader, a wife, a mother, a daughter, an artist by heart. A fun fact about Saiji, she has acted in dramas. She's an amazing artist as well. So is there anything Saiji can't do? I think she does it all. They say that a great person is someone who has a brain to pick, an ear to listen, and a push to push all of us in the right direction. And for all of us, Saiji is that person. I'm honored and extremely privileged to introduce my mentor, Dr. Sai Patil.
Namaste, everybody. Hari Om. It is wonderful to see all of you on a Saturday afternoon when we could be doing something else. For example, all of us love taking care of the household stuff on the weekend. Yeah? All of us want to do a lot of cooking on the weekend. All of us want to relax and watch TV on the weekend, or maybe hang out with our family on the weekend. But instead of doing all of that, we decided to come and spend time here with this weird sounding name of Hindu Women's Conference, where some of us have no clue what we are going to do, but we are extremely inquisitive. We really want to know what's going on. And for that, I want to congratulate all of you for spending and deciding to spend these 4 hours with this incredible group of women in Pittsburgh. As Sheilaji said, for the first time in Pittsburgh, this Hindu Women's Conference is being organized. And of course, the moment we see something or hear something, there's first question in our mind, why? Yeah? Why do we need to do this? And it's a fair question. But before I get into that answer, I just want to draw your attention to the identities we all carry, because this Hindu Women Conference, the 2 words are nothing but our identity. And all of us can imagine that, especially as a woman, we carry multiple identities. Yeah, we are born in a family as a girl. We immediately become somebody's daughter, somebody's sister, sometimes in olden days, as you know, the gap in the marriage age and the gap in the siblings used to be that you would also become somebody's masi immediately as soon as you're born. So we used to carry this kind of identity. We are used to carrying this. And this is not just for our beginning phase of our life. Especially for us, the moment we get married, we also get 100 other identities attached to our name. And interestingly, in our culture, it is not mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, sister-in-law, because it's not bound by law. It is what we accept. The moment we get married, the marriage is between two families. And the moment that happens, we automatically get connected and carry multiple identities just like we had before marriage. And when we go on like that in our personal life, we do see that it's a concentric circle of these identities. It is not, we don't have these isolated, yeah? So one identity is somehow connected to the other, then to the other, then to the other. And we increase our area of influence by carrying those identities. And we don't really shy away from one identity because we like the other identity more. Yeah? So somebody who is a mother, who is a homemaker, very proudly can say that, hey, I'm a homemaker, I'm a mother. And if I'm not a mother, I'm a great homemaker as well. Because mother is not a physical entity. It is a mindset. And that is why we, as women here, absolutely have a very good idea that what multiple identities mean. And that is why when Hindu women, 2 words come in one sentence, we should not be surprised or shocked. Because this is just an identity which we are emphasizing on. But then why this combination is so important? I don't have to explain and clarify why as a identity of a woman is important to us. We all are born as women. We carry ourselves very proudly as women. We must. And because we are born as women, we also have very special responsibility on our shoulders, whether we physically have kids or not, but by nature, we have been given a responsibility of nurturing. And that nurturing is for everybody. It's not just for my family. It's not just for my kids. It's for the community. That is what the identity of woman is. And when you attach the superimposing identity of Hindu to it, it's even more profound. And why is it so? So if you think about it, all of us who proudly call ourselves Hindu know that there are certain things we have inherited from our ancestors. And some of those inherited things actually talk about most profound ideas on this universe. One idea which we have heard multiple times and probably don't really, yeah, I've heard this from my childhood. What's such a great deal about this? Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Have you all heard of it? Imagine all of us being told from childhood that the whole world is one big family. The moment you call it family, of course you'll have conflicts. Of course you won't get along. Of course you'll yell at each other. But you still will love each other to the nth degree because you're a family. As Hindus, we were told that it is not just you, your immediate family, your extended family. It's not just that. The whole world is your family. And it becomes really, really confusing or sometimes very difficult to fathom this random idea. Because if the whole world is family, then somebody is sitting far away in Syria, and if somebody is in pain and far away in the other part of the world, how do I feel it? If it was my family, I must feel the pain. And for that, our body actually gives a brilliant example. That connection is very evident, and the nature, Bhagwan, has created our body just as a role model for that. So if you think about it, we say we are connected to the whole world. That means what? I am the smallest unit in this world. My extended family is the bigger unit. My immediate family and my extended family is the bigger unit. Then my neighborhood is an extension of that. Then my city is the extension of that. Then my town is the extension of that. Then my country is the extension of that. And then eventually the whole world is the extension of that one small unit. So eventually that one individual is connected to the whole universe, but very difficult to understand. So let's take an example of the cell in the body. The smallest unit in the body is a small cell. The extension of that cell is a tissue. The extension of that tissue is an organ. And the extension of that organ is the multiple systems in the body. Now, if one cell or one part of our body is in trouble, the whole body knows because it is connected, because it knows how to feel the pain of the other part of the body. That's called organic organization. That's called having that connect, which as Hindus we talk about. And that is why it is very important for us to carry that identity with pride, because we have so much to offer to this world. This is just one example I gave. There are multiple such examples. And if we don't understand it, and if we are not proud of it, how can we tell to the rest of the world? Nobody is going to listen to somebody who is already confused and not so sure. So the idea of creating such gatherings to bringing people together is to first know who we are, to be proud of who we are, to know why we should be proud of it, to know what kind of values and what kind of culture we have inherited and how it is important to pass on. Why it is important to pass on? Because it is an asset to the society. We only, in today's world, we only understand value. We only understand assets. Only what is useful will be kept, will be appreciated. For us, fortunately, that identity comes with whole plethora of great things which are there to be shared. So when yoga is practiced by everybody on this earth today, we are not going around saying that, hey, we need royalty. No, because it is to share. But at the same time, we should be proudly saying that, hey, this is my ancestors doing. They gave this beautiful gift to the world. And that is why so many people are benefited today. It is not attached with the arrogance at all. It is just pride. And there is a very fine line between pride and arrogance, and we all know that. And that's the point of having this kind of identity, clarity, and pride with it. And that is why today we thought we can bring some folks who have achieved something in their own life, but can share how they have practiced, preserved, and protected Hindu values as they were growing up and as they were raising their family in this country. And why this combination is important? Because as I said, as women, we have a very, very special task, given a very, very special job to do, whether we like it or not. It is our job. So if it is given to us, why not do it really well? And if we want to do that really well, we need to know what do we already have to do this job well. What we need to have to do this job well. And how can we get what we don't have to do this job well. And as Hindu community, if we all come together, if we share ideas, if we share each other's sentiments, if we share the challenges and the solutions which we have come across to practice, to protect and to preserve our own values, I think that is a wonderful start so that we can create a world which is a better place for upcoming generations. And I don't think anybody here would want any other way. So today, I would like to welcome you again and congratulate you again to take out time from your afternoon to come together, to listen to our esteemed panelists, to discuss in group, and finally, when we leave, get inspired by all those people who are around us. Each of us can inspire each other and can become a positive contributor to this community and not a liability. I think that is the goal. That is the purpose of this conference. That's why we have come together. And I'm really, really happy to see all of you. And hopefully, we will see each other like this every year for many years to come.
What a wonderful opening remark, Dr. Sai Patel. Amazing, amazing. As we are progressing and now going deep diving into Hindu Dharma, our values, our culture, our heritage, I am going to call upon the stage Shri Devi ji, who is going to lead us further in our panel discussions. Thank you.
Dhanyavad, Shweta ji. Welcome, everybody. Through this panel discussion, we seek to explore the experiences and insights from our respected panelists from their lens. We hope that many of you are able to relate with their struggles, the solutions, and the insights through this panel discussion. With this, I'd like to welcome our panelists on stage. Please. The first panelist is Asavriji Jadhav, who's an engineer, come proud mother, come sitarist, come entrepreneur. Asavriji is an engineer by profession, having over 20 years of experience in the technology field with several multinational companies. She's a proud mother of 2 boys, Aryan, who's 25, and Ishan, who's 21. Asavriji is passionate about Indian classical music and enjoys traveling, cooking, and is a fitness enthusiast. Motivating people to prioritize fitness and leading a healthy lifestyle is a passion that both Asavriji and her husband Rajendra ji share. This led them to become proprietors of High Point Fitness Club, where they are also group fitness instructors. Asavriji started learning sitar from the tender age of 7 and is continuing to hone her skills under the tutelage of Ustad Parvez Khan. She has performed at several events across the US. Sitar Vadan has kept Asavriji rooted to the Hindu culture and heritage. Indian classical music can be traced back to the Vedas and is a means for the common man to connect with the divine. She believes that music enables the performers as well as the listeners to transcend the material world and step into the spiritual world to connect and feel one with the divine. Thank you, Asavri ji. Who doesn't know Shambhavi ji here? Well known to many here as the guru of their child. One who through her art inspires the next generation to be positive and dharmic contributors of their community. Shambhavi ji Desai is an educator, choreographer, and performing artist in Indian classical dance form of Bharatanatyam, Loknritya, and creative dance, as well as a Hindustani classical music exponent. She's the founder and artistic director of the Sanskriti School of Indian Dance and Music in the Greater Pittsburgh area. Shambhavi ji, also a senior faculty member at the Pandit Jasraj Institute of Music, Research, Artistry, and Appreciation, and has been educating students as a part of the institute. Shambhavi ji obtained a master's degree in high honors in Bharatanatyam dance style. She also has a diploma in high honors in classical music from the Faculty of Performing Arts, MS University, Vadodara. In addition, she holds a master's degree in commerce. Shambhavi ji is affiliated with several organizations, schools, colleges, and non-profit organizations, locally, nationally, and internationally, including annual programs at the Greater Pittsburgh Arts Council, Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership Program, Office of Public Arts, Ahimsa Foundation, the Nationality Rooms Program, and Veera I. Hines Program for Women in Global Leadership at the University of Pittsburgh, and Aim for Seva, to name just a few. Through her school, Sanskriti School of Indian Dance and Music, she and her school volunteer by sharing her love for dance and music and creating awareness of unity through diversity and carving her own niche in doing so. Shambhavi ji has trained and nurtured numerous students in music and dance with a deep passion and commitment for over 20 years by formally educating, performing, volunteering, innovating, collaborating, and promoting the arts within the Indian diaspora, as well as the mainstream. Welcome, Shambhavi ji. We are fortunate to have among us Dr. Nilima Ji Parekh as a panelist, whose wisdom and experience navigating the mires of being on a foreign soil since 1980 will be of immense value to us. Dr. Nilima Ji Parekh was born and brought up in Hyderabad and graduated from the Osmania Medical College in 1978. She married Dr. Mukulji Parekh in 1980, and they moved to the US right after. She completed her residency in anesthesiology at St. Joseph Hospital in Syracuse in 1984. Since 1985, Dr. Parekh worked at the Holy Spirit Hospital in Harrisburg and is retired now since December 2021. The Parekhs have been actively contributing to the Hindu community since the 1990s. The Parekhs learned and immersed themselves in the Vedanta school of thought at the Arsha Vidya Gurukulam. The Parekh served as a board member, Dr. Parekh served as a board member and president of the Hari Temple in Harrisburg. The Parekhs also founded the Asian Indian Americans of Central PA in the 90s. The Parekh Dr. couple have also served in surgical missions in Bharat, Philippines, Thailand, and Africa. Nilima ji loves to read, paint, and host events because she has a passion for cooking as well. As a couple, they love traveling, especially on pilgrimages. Nilima ji also has taken up the study of Vedic astrology. The Parekhs have 2 sons. Both are doctors, and they have 5 grandchildren. Welcome, Nilima ji. And now we have with us Dr. Kamala Reddy, an endocrinologist and acclaimed Kuchipudi dancer, and a guru to the future torchbearers of Dharma. A gifted dancer with distinct individuality, Kamalaji Reddy stands out as one of the leading exponents of Kuchipudi dance in Indian classical form. One of the most devoted students of Guru Dr. Vempati Chinna Satyam, Kamalaji has performed extensively in India, US, and abroad, giving solo performances and playing lead roles in many of her guru's ballets. She has earned accolades amongst the critics and connoisseurs of dance. She established the Kala Niketan Academy of Indian Classical Dance in Pittsburgh in 1991 and has trained several students over the years who have traveled with her to perform all across the US. In recognition of her contributions to Kuchipudi dance, Kamalaji was conferred the Nritya Seva Mani title, Vedantam Jagannath Sharma Vamshi Puraskar, Nritya Kala Ratna Puraskar, Kuchipudi Mauktikam, among other awards. In addition to being an accomplished dancer, teacher, and choreographer, Kamalaji is a practicing endocrinologist and lives in Pittsburgh with her loving and extremely supportive husband, Dr. Gopinath G. Rajupet. Kamalaji is also an active Chinmaya Mission Pittsburgh Sevika, where she serves as a Balavihar teacher and as a board member. Welcome, Kamalaji. So now we'll begin with the most interesting part of the panel discussion. The first question is for everybody to answer. We'll start with Asavri ji. How does being a Hindu woman define your identity? How does it impact your professional versus personal life?
Can you hear me? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here, first of all, and thank you so much for organizing. I'll quickly jump into the question. Hinduism, or Hindutva, the way we want to call it, I personally believe it is a mixture of diversity and inclusivity, right? I mean, it accommodates so many different beliefs, practices, philosophies, and allowing each one of us to follow our own path for spirituality at the end. For me personally, it has been through Indian classical music as a sitarist. I have learned to walk that path of spirituality through it. It's totally defined who I am. We just heard of the Nada Brahma, just when we were reciting, Sheilaji was reciting this beautiful. And it just tells us that simple thing, that sound is God. Sound is so powerful, it is so profound that it has the ability to evoke so many different, emotions and achieve some sense of divinity through that, right? So to me, it has totally defined, and even in my personal life, an ability to follow Indian classical music, as an instrumentalist, has been a constant source of devotion and my spiritual journey. Professional life, I think, like I said, I've been an engineer by profession, worked in, technology field. Somewhere, consciously or subconsciously, it's all imbibed in us, like as we are growing up, trying to follow a very moral and ethical behavior, right? All of us have it in us, and we all try to do it. And the second thing is trying to be having compassion, no matter which field we are in, right? The right to self-respect, having the compassionate spirit is what really helped me out in my professional world.
Absolutely. Integrity and being ethical is the foundation of Hindu Dharma, and having it in our profession is so much more important. And I've worked with Asavri ji, so I am aware of what she means by it and how she demonstrated it at work. So yeah, thank you, Asavri ji. Shambhavi ji, your thoughts on this?
Namaste, Hari Om. And again, it's an honor, and I'm blessed to be a part of this unique event. So thank you. So I'll also jump right into this, that I second Asavri ji, that being into the arts, even unknowingly, you end up sort of practicing the Hindu values and the values of the Sanatan Dharma. It is not that you have to make an attempt. whether it's dance or music, you know, the minute you start the Tanpura on, you are with God. And you are, you know, so for me, right from the beginning, I have been raised with this, so, you know, and I've been fortunate that, you know, the kids also have been able to take a lot of that passively as they were growing up. So incorporating and inculcating the values of Hinduism has been a part of our growing up. So, and I'm trying to do that as I try to educate the students of this generation. That's my, you know, ongoing process, and I try to do that. So that's what for me, I have a lot more to share, but the gist of it is that it is a part of a way of life. And so, I mean, I cannot pinpoint 1, 2, 3. Absolutely, it is, you know, yes. It's a way of life.
Absolutely, so. I completely agree with you. And, you know, considering that, you know, everybody here is a guru, like you're the first guru for your child. So that's one thing. But then we have all 4 of our panelists, I'm pretty sure, have had gurus outside of the domain of their education. In the sense that, you know, from school, you consider a couple teachers as your guru maybe, but then I'm pretty sure you've had gurus outside of that area as well. And considering that Shambhavi ji and Kamala ji are gurus themselves, they are imparting these values to so many of the children in our greater Pittsburgh area. We are so grateful for that, because I think our school system here obviously does not impart the values that we would like to impart in our children. And having an avenue for children to learn this elsewhere is very important. Thank you, Shambhavi ji. Nilima ji, we'd like your thoughts on this.
Namaste. Can everyone hear me? Okay. Namaste again, everyone. Thank you, Sridevi ji, for a nice introduction. And I would like to thank the committee of Manasvini to invite me on this stage. It's an honor. Defining Hindu for who I am. The word Hindu comes from the word Sindhu River. About 3,500 years ago, the Persians came, and for some reason they saw settlers on the Sindhu River, and they could not say or spell the word Sa, so it becomes a Hindu. And later Alexander the Great comes, and then he couldn't say the word Dha, so it becomes a Hindu. That is how we are. But anyways, to define who I am, I think it truly depends on my immediate family, my upbringing, my extended family, my friends, society, community. And I was born in Hyderabad to a Marathi Brahmin family. Both my parents were professors of English literature. And our days were doing the Nitya Karmas, going to school, offering prayers, doing evening artis. One of the highlights was going to Hanuman temple on Saturdays, have the prasad. We celebrated all the functions, like from Sankranti, Haldi Kunku, Chaitra, Gauri, Ganpati, Navratri, Dasara, Diwali, the list goes on and on. But what really has influenced me is our summer camps at the Arshavidya Gurukulam. Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati founded that ashram. We were lucky to have it 2 hours away from our home. And we attended it since '91. The teachings of Pujya Swamiji, other Swamijis, the morning Abhishekam, chanting the Rudram, Gurukul Seva. It just inspired me. And what I learned from that is the principle of Karma Yoga, where you do your actions and do not expect any results, give your 100%, and I extended the same principle to my professional life.
Absolutely, Nilima ji. हम लोग कितने बार बोलते हैं? How many times do we tell at home to our children, you have to light the diya in the evening, go spend a few minutes in the altar, go pray, and you know, feel the oneness with God, and then you can come have your dinner. And it's not easy to get them to do it on a daily basis, but it's a good practice to do it. Maybe even start doing it in the morning when they are leaving for school. Get a little bit of vibhuti on their forehead maybe. But these are the little things that our parents teach us that we carry forward and are trying to impart to our next generation. Thank you, Nilimaji. Dr. Reddy.
Namaste, Hari Om. Thank you again for inviting me, and I feel really honored to be here today. What I agree with all of the panelists, and there's little to add to what they've said, but I feel that my identity as a Hindu really shows in one's perspective and way of life. From the time we wake up in the morning till the time we go to bed, what is our view on what we are going to be faced with? As Nilimaji has said, it's with that bhava of seva. If you do every duty of yours with that arpana as an offering and the seva buddhi, and you're ready to accept whatever you get as a prasad from the divine, I think our days go so much better. And so over the years, I've learned to do that. I was very fortunate to have had multiple very powerful, positive influences in my life that have shaped me to who I am, and Chinmaya Mission is one of them, and really has helped formalize all of the values that I grew up with, and to practice that. And whether it is the family, whether it is in dance, I always tell my children, my dance students also, is when you are there and dancing, it's with single-pointed focus, and just forget about everything else and take that opportunity to be one with the higher or the divinity within. And fortunately for me, my profession has also lended itself to the same, in terms of seva. And so I view every one of my patients as an opportunity to see the divinity within them and see how I can help. So it's just the way of life, I think.
Absolutely, such a profound statement here. We see divinity in everything, everyone, and every object around us, and that is Sanatan Dharma. Where because of that, I think what you said is of value, because everything becomes an offering. You do not collect or take everything because it is for you. It's made for you. You value nature. And I think climate change itself is such it could be averted if we adopt this attitude in our life. Thank you, Kamalaji, for this insight. Yeah. The second question is for any one of you. So, who is your inspiration outside of your family? Nilimaji, yeah, absolutely.
I have a couple people who have really inspired me. And the first one I would put is Swami Vivekananda. When I was a little girl, 9 years old, a scholar from Pune, Shivaji Rao Bhosle, happened to visit Hyderabad from Pune. And he delivered lectures 11 days, every day from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. They were mesmerizing, intriguing, inspiring, engaging. And it really influenced a lot of people. As we all know, Swami Vivekananda brought the principle of Advaita Vedanta to the West. He brought Hinduism as one of the world's main religions. And one of the things which inspired most about him was him being a philosopher, a reformer. He contributed the concept of nationalism to colonial India. And his philosophy of to know, knowledge, gnanam, is to do. Awake, arise, and do. And my second ideal person who inspired me was Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya. As we all know, in his short span of life, he traversed all over India by foot, established 4 mathas, Badrinath in north, Sringeri in the south, Jagannathpur in the east, and Dwarka in the west. He wrote tons of commentaries on Bhashyakara, on Brahma Sutras, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads. Truly a Vedic scholar and revival of Hinduism. I always remember one of the sentences my father said when I was a little girl was, if not for Adi Shankaracharya, we would all be Buddhist.
Dhanyavad, Chinmaya. That was a unique perspective indeed. And, I think Vivekananda Swami and Adi Shankaracharya are inspiration for many of us out here. They laid the foundation for modern day Hindu Dharma as well, I think. So it's wonderful that, we got this insight from you. Thank you. Yes, Asariji.
So I think those are really two, great people. But maybe I want to talk about my own inspiration, current inspiration. So I'm basically inspired by my own guru, Ustad Shahid Parvez Khan. He's legendary, there is no doubt about it. But what the principles of that inspiration are, his music goes beyond religious boundaries, and the ability for someone to connect, not just for me, but for his listeners. Being a non-Hindu, he has that ability to connect with his soulful music in such a way that it takes you into a spiritual trance. So for me, that has been a really great experience, right? It's not just, the oneness. Secondly, not just his, musical ability, but an ability to give. I have seen Ustadji, impart his education to anyone. Anyone is open to, anyone who is coming from different, philosophy, anybody from a different belief, but an ability to impart education and being at that self, having that, passion to pick people up at that level and lift them up is such a source of inspiration, because for me it's important that, you have a guru who is teaching you those things so that I can take some of it and do the same. So it's a, great way for me to also say that, hey, I need to take that circle and see how I can lift people up the same way as he's doing. So.
Absolutely, Asauriji. I mean, Vasudeva Kutumbakam is not a copyright of Sanatan Dharma alone. And obviously, there are a lot of people around the world who may not be Sanatanis, but they espouse the very values that Sanatana Dharma is representing. So thank you for that insight, yes. The next question is for Kamalaji and Shambhaviji. As a Hindu woman, what were some of the challenges you overcame to establish yourself as a Hindu family in this country? Kamalaji?
So I came to this country 34 years ago, and I have to say I've been extremely fortunate that I came to Pittsburgh. I had been to Pittsburgh in 1984 on a dance tour, and I was aware of the SV Temple, because that's where we spent 10 days, rehearsing and performing. But also, when I came to this country, it so happened that my husband's family was here, and so we moved to Pittsburgh. So I really came in privileged, because I already had a family who had a social network that I very seamlessly, mixed with. And then there was the SV Temple, which gave me a huge, source or a spot where I could go and feel me, and I had given a performance soon after I came at the SV Temple, which was very well appreciated, and soon after that I was requested to start teaching, which I did. And one of my first performances was for a physician's son's Upanayanam. And during that performance, there were a lot of non-Indian audience. And I was so taken aback with their response to to our arts and culture. And it just took a little bit of explanation, and they just, felt so connected with it. And so all along, I felt like I've been privileged. I can't think of challenges as such that I had to specifically face to establish, my family here. I think challenges are in how you perceive anything, right? You can, I always think when I'm talking to my patients, there's a patient who comes in, he's works in a post office and then says, I'm so stressed about my job. And then I have someone else who's a brain surgeon and does so much, under so much pressure, but then still feels fine, right? So it's all in how we view it. So that's how, and I was fortunate to have a spouse who's also the same, wavelength, where he doesn't get too perturbed. So I have to say, it was an easy ride.
That's good to know. Let's hope that's a blessing that all of us get too. Yeah. Shambhaviji.
So I sort of have the same thing as Kamalaji. I was also reasonably fortunate to start with. I came to the USA about slightly over 30 years back to University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, where my husband was doing his PhD, and I was also doing a course. And my journey started, initially it was a culture shock, because we were invited to a Super Bowl game. So there I go, in my salwar kameez in my early 20s, high heels, walking in the snow, and my husband kind of didn't say anything because he was okay with me the way I was. And then I have evolved a bit since then. But the values and the sense of identity has not changed. In fact, it has strengthened. So, yes, after that we moved to Pittsburgh. We are in Pittsburgh since 27 years, and kids were born. My daughter Moha and son Amey. They both, we sort of again inculcated the values that we have, we grew up with, and yes, me teaching and performing, educating students, including my own kids, did help them also follow the same value system. We were a part of the Hindu Jain temple, my husband and I. My husband is also, he's formally studied music. And both my parents, sets of parents, other than their professions, they are heavily into the arts, the performing arts, and poetry. So my husband and I started to volunteer to teach music at the Hindu Jain temple. And we have been affiliated with the Hindu Jain temple since we moved to Pittsburgh. And our kids have been a part of the Vidya Mandir. So they really developed a greater sense of identity of who they are now, and the values that they have through the summer camps, and just a routine of being there actively, passively, in so many ways. And of course, while learning dance and music as well, unknowingly we do so many, Hindu mythology, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, scriptures, Adi Shankaracharya ji's, so many things. So those things and stories and everything sort of help them understand, not as deeply, but deep enough for them to be able to follow that. Now, as far as the challenges are concerned, while growing up, not many, I would not even say that those are the challenges, but school, my daughter, we are vegetarians. Nothing against anything else, but there were very limited options in school cafeteria. So my daughter felt very comfortable in her skin to approach to the food services lady and tell her the yogurt has gelatin in it and I don't eat any meat of any form. So can you do something, or can we make sure we have some options where all the people who do not eat any meat can have some more options? I'm talking about the school district, which is now probably half Indian, but at that time it wasn't. So I'm just giving this example because, she did not feel that she could not do that. It's not just that her personality is like that, but she thought that, okay, I'm slightly different. I have my needs, and it's okay for me to go and approach, So that's one thing, a very random example. But there are so many instances, that they feel a sense of belonging. So not just the Hindu Jain temple and being affiliated with that, but just the way, it all panned out in Pittsburgh and the lovely community. All the temples, SV temple, and now we have Chinmaya also, which is Sai Baba temple. Just visiting all the temples, and we are a very culturally rich town. It's a small town, but a lot goes on. So we make sure that, the kids attend that. They would be the two people sitting here for a classical program, Hindustani classical, when they were young. But now they are the ones who go. If I cannot go, they do go. So that's the thing. And, it's, like I said, it's a way of life. And it is hard for me to pinpoint one or from the other. So I'm just very fortunate, and my husband and both the sets of parents, they all are kind of with us in our journey. So along with the beautiful community. So I'm just very thankful for that.
Thank you, Shambhaviji. For bringing up a child, it takes a village. And when the village has a common set of values, it's all the more helpful. That sense of community is so, so important. Just the parents are not enough to bring up a child with the right set of values. Thank you for that insight. Absolutely important for all of us here. The next question is for Asavri ji and Nilima ji. As a Hindu woman, what were some of the challenges that you overcame professionally? Asavri ji?
Sri Devi ji, you're aware that we are, like as engineers, we worked in a very different profession, right? Our challenges were different because there are a lot less women even 20 years back. I can talk very openly with my, big community here. I'll talk about gender bias, stereotyping, right? And while a lot has been taken care, over the years, they used to manifest itself in subtle ways. Indian woman, being a woman is hard. Being an Indian woman is harder, right? We are often stereotyped as, hey, we are softer, flexible, very accommodating.
Minority.
Yeah, very accommodating, when we are not, right? So to me, the challenge was that getting into, obviously, leadership roles was you have to prove yourself before you're given anything. Nothing is handed to you, as opposed to my male counterparts or other women. And I'll be very open here and very, candid, right? So that was one. Of course, it was a challenge. We overcame it. The one quick, simple thing we overcame it is being yourself, standing up for what your own values, and things will work, right? You don't have to go and bend rules anywhere. The second thing I want to talk about quickly is networking, right? A woman is often judged for how she should be, or everybody else has an opinion on how a woman should be, right? networking in this today's world is so important. You know, the world thrives on references, connections, network. As a woman, my first thing as soon as I got off the office was I want to spend time with my children. I want to have that work-life balance. Whereas I used to see other people hanging out in bars, hanging out, you know, making nothing against what they are doing. It was just I found it difficult to take that additional step. I just stuck on to, you know, my own values. I did what I could. Of course, you know, I can still go out to a bar and hang out with them. You know, there is nothing wrong in doing that, but I had my challenges when I did that. Third thing is work-life balance. It is difficult, right? No matter how easy these women are making it look, it is hard. All of us have to do it. All of us have to balance it out. I found after-school activities, right, being there for my children for any after-school activities was tough. I just have to make sure that I tell my children that my job and what I work and my music is as important. So I'll be there when you need me. If I have to skip certain things, please understand what it takes to be a mom.
Clear, Savri. It's important to set the boundaries and limits. And the other thing is, we speak about all the roles that a woman plays, but we never bring up the role of friend. It's so important to for women to have friends. I hope we all make a lot of friends here today to carry on, you know, and continue to be friends even after this conference. Thanks for that insight, Savri. Networking is absolutely important. Okay, the next question is again for anyone who would like to answer. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay.
No problem. I started my residency when I was 8 months pregnant, finished my residency when I was 8 months pregnant. So that was the challenge. And then work at Holy Spirit. Being an anesthesiologist, I had to get up real early and be at work at 6:30. So the challenge for me was never being home when the kids go off the bus, and that bothered me. Never be home when the kids came home off the bus because I had somebody be with them. But we tried to attend as much as parents-teachers conferences, after-school activities, etc. But professionally, I must say that being a woman, non-white, working in a male-dominated surroundings in the operating room, I really never felt or experienced them making me feel different. I thought I had my fair share of calls, fair share of work, fair share of cases, fair share of salary, fair share of vacation. And truly, that is all Ishvara's grace.
Thank you for that insight. Yeah. And just a small joke in between. When I call my mom, she'll typically ask me, how is Sahi doing? She means Sahi. So yeah, thank you, Sahi ji, for correcting me. And apologies, Nilima ji. Yeah. Okay, the next question is for any one of you. If and how being a Hindu woman helped you in your profession, can you cite an example?
Sure, I can go.
Yes.
The scriptures of Bhagavad Gita truly helped me deal with challenging situations at work. Sometimes you have a right patient, right surgeon, right anesthesia, and the outcome is not what you expect to be. So the shloka, karmannevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhur ma te sangostva karmani. This shloka is kind of the essence of Bhagavad Gita and truly has helped me accept situations. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy. And all it says is you have whole control over your actions. Karmannevadhikaraste. You have authority on your actions. Ma phaleshu kadachana. You have no control on results of action. Ma karma phalaheturbhur. You do not consider to be the cause of the results of action. So in other words, don't blame yourself. And ma te sangostva karmani is do not be attached to inaction. So following this principle from Bhagavad Gita has helped me accept challenges in life.
Thank you, Nilima ji. Very, very profound words here. I mean, to, perform your actions without an expectation is better than, having expectations and having them quashed. So it's very important to do your duty and, not expect anything in return. Thank you. Kamalaji.
And I would like to, I think what Nilimaji has said is so, so profound. And I have seen within my practice also that just our scriptures come in so handy when we are talking to our patients. Most of the time when we talk to our patients, they are at a vulnerable time and spot, and it's really for us to extend our empathy. And so a lot of times what I've seen is most of the ailments are cut down by 50% or more just by how you present yourself to them, talk to them, and to help them understand. Sometimes, they're so caught up with their, at that, time, their symptoms, that you help them see the bigger picture, or just small things from our Vedanta that I was able to share with them. I take every opportunity that I get to share whatever I'm learning with whoever I can come across with, whether it's my coworkers, whether it is my patients. I feel like our bond gets stronger. They know that I'm there for them truly, and not, so I think it's, again, I really feel blessed to be where I am right now, and having received a little bit of whatever knowledge that I've received in this field.
Thank you, Kamalaji. I mean, in our culture, we do see the doctor as God, because you place absolute trust in the doctor when you visit, especially if you're in pain. You put your whole self in the care of the doctor. So it's so important to have humility and empathy, and our values bring that out in us. Yeah, thank you. Okay, the last question is again for any one of you. Being a Hindu woman of this century, how do you see Hindu values impacting the world in the future? What do you see as your role in it? Anybody? Okay, Nilimaji. Yeah.
Hinduism is one of the oldest religions in the world. It has stayed alive for over thousands of years. It has no one God. It has no one founder, unlike Islam and Christianity. It has stood up difficult times through multiple invasions, but it's still alive. And Hinduism is a way of life. It's a Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana means no beginning, no end. Dharma is, the root word comes from the word dhru. Dhru means to sustain, to withhold. And it has withheld, as we all can see. And the universal principles of Hinduism are basically speaking the truth, don't hurt others, ahimsa, satyam, dhanam, the list goes on and on. And these principles kind of appeal to a thinking mind. Unlike the monotheistic belief, where if you don't believe in Allah, you will go to Jahannam. When you don't believe in Jesus as a savior, you will go to eternal hell. Henotheistic religion, as Hinduism is very accommodating, is very compassionate, is very accepting, is very tolerant. See, if somebody plays to Rama and whoever plays to Krishna is not negated. They accept him for who they are. And knowingly or unknowingly, we are all leading towards moksha, looking for freedom. Some people who have an emotional mind use bhakti marga, do bhakti yoga. Some people who have a seva bhav mind do karma and then do karma yoga. And people who have analytical mind go with gnana marga and do gnana yoga. Either way, the roads could be different, but the goal is the same. And truly, in my opinion, and if you can see over the years, the West has been influenced with more vegetarianism coming, ahimsa, yogas, as we were talking about, having World Yoga Day. There's a lot of meditation, chanting, Ayurveda. And I do believe that in the future, people will believe more in the Hindu principles. And the only reason they would is because there's a choice. When they make a choice, there is freedom. And freedom is moksha.
Thank you, Nilima ji. And I mean, that's what the word Sanatan is, right? It's applicable universally at any point in time, at every point in time, into the future as well. So all these values that you mentioned are applicable even now and will be applicable for centuries hereafter. Thank you. Anybody else? Shambhavi ji.
Yes, I do have to share just a little bit. So as we have all gathered here, I would like to quote one shloka or a line from the ancient scripture Manusmriti. Any guesses? Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devata. Thank you, Saiji. So that's what, that wherever women are, I would not say worshipped, but respected and regarded, then the divinity will shine through it, So that's what, it's not that, women only are the torch bearers, but they have a huge role in shaping up the future, right from giving the birth to the child and then grooming them. And that's what kind of, and then that person will take it from there. But so as a woman who, I would not say who can influence, but who tries to kind of, do things right, it is our duty to keep on doing the right way with the values that we have. And knowingly, unknowingly, the Hindutva in us, will transpire through the next generation. And that's what, I try to do. And again, it's beyond the puja part. Of course, the religious things, lighting a lamp, chanting your shlokas and everything is part one. But the deeper part is to be able to practice the values that you have of the kind of human being you want to be and inspire others. That's what I strive to do. And not all the time I am successful, but I will keep on trying that. Again, I'm grateful to be a part of this, so thank you. Shubhamastu.
Asabri ji, yes, absolutely. Yes.
Very important, walk the talk, right? That's how we will inspire, right? We do, everybody will follow. We don't need to preach. We don't need to teach. We just need to do it ourselves, right? And then next generation and all others will follow our path. So let's continue with that mindset.
Yeah, being comfortable in your own skin, being proud about being a Hindu, and carrying on the traditions. Our children will see that we are comfortable doing it, and they will take it up automatically. That's what Asavri ji is talking about. It's just a big lesson for all of us. Kamala ji.
And I think the other thing that we all individually, as individuals, as families, can do is, I think, to not hesitate to educate. So many times I feel like when I discuss what a lot of times, I listen to lectures and I go to discourses. And the very next day, the first thing I do, I go to the office, we have our lunch room, we are all gathered. I discuss it with them. I said, I tell them, oh, this is what I heard yesterday, and these are the points that were told. And it's surprising how receptive everyone is to it, because the values we are learning are universal. It's not Hindus alone need to follow, right? So we know it's Sanatana Dharma. So I think that it's wonderful to see how accepting people are. And so I don't think we should hesitate to educate or to make people more aware. And to some extent, I wish that the media, we could use more of the media in this regard, because as much of the advertisements that we see on TV, I wish there were equal number of spiritual, messages that are put out there, because the more you listen, the more you imbibe. So I somehow, if there could be like some change, as you're saying, in the world, I would say we have to make more use of the media these days, or somehow get to more people. And I don't mean preach, but at the same time, who doesn't want to know how can you deal with stress, or how can you deal with anger in a philosophical way? 5 points, and I think that would be a great capsule for someone to take home. And so one message each day, something like that.
Absolutely. I mean, at work, I used to do that with my friends and colleagues. There were no topics were taboo, and we used to discuss about Hindu Dharma as well at that point in time. Asavri is aware of that. So yeah, if you are comfortable in your skin, you feel comfortable discussing about your background, about your heritage, about your culture. And people are, and you'll be surprised to know how accepting people are. So yeah, thank you for that insight as well, Kamalaji. Yeah. Well, thank you for this wonderful discussion. Manasvini represents self-awareness, self-reliance, and self-will, qualities that every woman possesses. This panel discussion celebrates the self-will and self-reliance of our panelists, and the hope is that every one of us is inspired and willing to take this step towards self-will and self-reliance, enabling us to positively contribute to the betterment of the very community that we are part of. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all the panelists. It was an amazing discussion. I didn't realize that the time was over. I was nicely sitting there and I realized, oh, now I had to come on the stage. So thank you for that. It was an amazing discussion. I'm sure all of us have been inspired by your life, by your recommendations, suggestions. So the next thing, moving on in the conference, what we're going to do is we'll have a break for 30 minutes. I encourage all of you to, interact with new people. This is the time, like Sridevi ji said, to make friends. So, try to interact with people you don't know. We have our panelists here. If you have any additional questions, maybe, you can ask them during the break. And then after the break, we'll have our workshop session. So in this session, we will be breaking out into different groups. So let me just quickly explain what will happen. So the idea is to get into smaller groups and have a discussion on some of the challenges that you face as a Hindu woman. There could be similar sad challenges, there could be different challenges. No challenge is small. You shouldn't feel that, or you shouldn't feel shy about sharing something. This is your safe space. This is, your family that will help you overcome that challenge. So I think, you want to look at that discussion from that perspective. You'll also talk about solutions. What is the root cause of that challenge, right? Again, the idea is for us to brainstorm together as Hindu women on how to address some of these challenges, on how we can protect, preserve, and practice Hindu Dharma in this country. And we'll also talk about, as Hindu women, how can we be positive contributors to our community, right? We live here. This is, for a lot of us, this is our karma bhumi. So we want to contribute to the local community, to help the people around us. So we can think about creative ways on how, as a group of Hindu women, we can do it.
right? There's so many things happening. We all have these creative minds, you know. I'm sure we're all artists, and there are so many skills that each of us has. Let's put our brains together, think of creative things that we can do as a group, and that's what we'll talk about in the workshop. The way the workshop breakout rooms will happen are each of you has a name tag, right? So there's a color for that in that name tag. That will be your group. So I'll put up so the name tag colors have a specific location. So after the break, towards the end of the break, you'll have 30 minutes break. Try to go to those locations. If you don't know where that location is, ask me or ask anyone who's a volunteer. They think they have a green lanyard. So just make sure that you know where you're going, and try to get there by 3 p.m. so that everyone's situated. There'll be a moderator there, and you'll spend around 45 minutes in a group discussion, and then we'll all meet back here and maybe share what all we discussed. So I hope you take the break to make new friends, and I hope you use the workshop to help and share some of the challenges and solutions with your friends, new friends. Yes. So one other quick thing, you can see some posters around in this auditorium, right? So these posters were actually a part of a traveling exhibition called Darshana. This traveling exhibition was conducted across the US in not only in the temples and within the Hindu community, but even in schools and city councils to talk about what Hindu Dharma is to the non-Hindu audience. So I'd encourage you to also go around, if you already haven't, to look at some of these posters. And the interesting part that I feel is that the posters were made by second-generation Hindus. So this is their perspective of what Hindu Dharma is for them. So that's something I wanted to let everyone know. All right. So I think, so Dhanalakshmi ji, thank you for keeping the time and keeping us so that we'll all get the 30-minute break. So thank you for that. And I think everyone can disperse. There's also tea in the dining room area if you all want to have tea. And we'll... Yes, go ahead. No, I was just going to say, and then at the end of the 30 minutes, just make sure you're in your respective rooms. I'll keep this on so that you know where to go.